Hi guys, so how to produce a good sound and how you can record your guitar a little bit better. Big questions, and there are no one good answer. There are hundreds of answers because of the gear, because of the opinions, and etc. But anyway, I'll try to give you some tips and hints how you can develop these things. But first of all, I want to mention that if you're a beginner or advanced or something like that, I really recommend watch this video through, because the sound is one of the most important things. If you are only looking for new falsettos, new melodies and that kind of stuff, it doesn't give you all the answers. If you want to play better, you have to know these certain specific things to get better. And one example more, when I discuss with my colleagues, and they can be electric player or acoustic players, every time we end up to this topic, I mean that every time we discuss about the sound. For example, maybe electric players are more interested about the gear, and they discuss maybe a little bit more about this equipment and the sound things, but still among the classical or acoustic players overall, it's really common issue that after 30 years of playing, you still discuss about how you produce your sound, what you do with that, what guitar you use, what strings you use, how you take care of your nails and every these kind of things. And because everyone know that you can play melodies as much as you want, but it necessarily doesn't help you with the sound. And the other really important thing is that if you think about, I'm talking about flamencos now, if you think about flamenco maestros, Paquete Lucia, Tomatito, Gerardo Núñez, Vicente Amico, Pepe Pichuela, Oena Pichuela, etc., it means that every time you can know this and you know who is playing, even when you hear only a couple of notes, because they have their own specific sound. And how they produce that, it's because of the technique and the nails what they use, and of course the guitar and that kind of stuff. But it's really important thing, and they have really thought about this, how they produce the sound. And one example more, if you assume that when you are playing a melody and it goes okay, but the sound is not very satisfying maybe, and you think if you buy a new guitar it will change the whole thing. No, it won't happen. If you buy a new better guitar, it will help you a little bit, of course, but in the end, if your technique is not good, the better guitar doesn't sound good enough. But if you give a good player a bad guitar, still it sounds quite good. Of course, it doesn't sound as good as with the better guitar, but anyway, you get the point. So you really need to focus on these things also. Because if you only play falsettos 15 years, you can still struggle that how my sound is so bad or that kind of stuff. You'll come back to this in the end. Maybe after 1 year of playing, 20 years of playing, but you know, every professional players think about this thing every year, even after 60 years of playing. When you go to the studio, for example, you will hear right away the feedback, how you sound, and usually you are not satisfied. You know, working in a studio can be really a pain in the ass, you know. But anyway, now, a couple of things. First of all, of course, these basic things I've mentioned in my previous videos: good playing position and the guitar you are familiar with about, and also you have it's better to have new strings. I change these, it depends, every second week or every fourth week. It depends if I have to play concerts or record stuff, so I change a little bit more often. But anyway, now these are quite new, 5 days old maybe, these strings. But anyway, these things should be in a good condition. Then your nails, I can't give you certain ideas or what could I say, exact things how you should shape your nails, because it's really personal thing. But my nails are more like this. I have showed these things in the previous videos. You can check them there. And if you don't have any nails, it's impossible to produce a good flamenco sound. But if you want to play without nails, it's okay. But you have to be aware of this thing, that without nails you can't produce really flamenco sound. But anyway, I use this plastic here, but check that previous video about how I prepare my nails. I can put actually a link there down in the info box so you can check there. But anyway, then how you when you play, I won't go to the details about the techniques now. I only discuss about the sounding. So when you start playing and you just feel your guitar and try it a little bit. Whatever you play, you can try it a little bit. If it sounds like this, it's not good, as you can hear very well. Or if you are doing like this, it doesn't sound any good, and so on. You know, these basic techniques should be in a good condition, or you should be aware of how to do them. And then when you start to play melody, for example scales or something, you should really be aware of what you are doing and know nothing like this. Every note should be in a clear condition. And you can try, for example, if you play melodies, what could I say? Okay, I play on a scale. If I play like this, then I can play or like this. And if you play with the thumb, for example, and you want to make a certain sound, this is quite common sound when you are a beginner. Whatever. But when you play it a little bit more correctly, it should be something like this. Like this. So I'm not using too much power, but my angle with the thumb, my nail, and how I play the string are in quite well condition. Like this. And same with the arpeggio. When you are playing this, it's not. If you think about solea, for example, it's quite rough when you play it like this. So every time you play, you should think about these things. And one really interesting thing, what a little bit irritates me, is that nowadays modern flamenco guitar players especially, often sound like Paco de Lucia. The reason is obvious. Paco raised the level so high that everyone wants to be on that level. That's understandable. He's a really good motivator for me too. So it's understandable. But do not imitate him too much. Try to play his stuff when you are able to do that, and try to think about the sound, what he does, and learn what he has done. But don't try to be as duplicate. A copy of him, because there's no point to do that. If you think about these guitar players I mentioned before, Moraito, Gerardo, Paco, Tomatito, etc., and Vicente, every one of them has their own specific sound and way of playing. Of course, they know each other well, and they have studied others playing stuff, and they know these things, of course. But I mean that learn these sounds, learn the material these players have done, and so on, but try to produce your own sound and try to build your own way to play. It needs courage, it needs experience and that kind of stuff. But anyway, I want to encourage you that do these things. Try to be yourself. Don't try to be a copy of somebody else. There's no point to do that. And in the end, that doesn't interest people too much. You know, it's usually what interests is that somebody has something to say, that he's not or she is not repeating someone else's stuff. So it's quite understandable. But anyway, study these sound things and stuff, and be careful when you when you are playing. Remember these things every time you are practicing and playing. Concentrate how you sound. Try to listen to it and try to produce a good sound. And one common mistake is that when you are trying to play fast, it's something like that, and you are trying to rush through the melodies, and usually the sound and the rhythm is in really bad shape. So don't do it too quickly if you have to produce a worse sound or the rhythm is not strict. You have to do it correctly. It's much more better to do it well in the slower tempo than in a bad way with fast tempo. And you can, if you can play Solia really slowly, but it sounds well, you can still perform it. But if you play it, it sounds like rubbish. You can't perform it. This is my opinion. But anyway, you know what I'm talking about. But then many of you have asked me also about this, about my videos. I really appreciate that you have mentioned that the sound of these videos are quite good. It's really appreciated. But anyway, it's a combination of different things. It's a combination of my guitar and my sound and the mics and the computer, which is there. And this is the same thing as I mentioned, that if you are not a good player and someone gives you a very good guitar, it doesn't mean that you can get the sound out of it. Because you have to learn the way to play and you have to learn these basic techniques, how to produce a good sound. So it's really important thing. But when you can produce okay sound or good sound, depends how you practice and how you listen to it, then you can just buy some basic mics. Usually this is really rough guideline. When you are in the studio circumstances like this, these kind of wide cardioid mics are quite good for the studio. You can use only this, what are these pipe model mics also. I don't know all the terms in English, but sorry for that. But anyway, you know what I mean. You can use them too. It changes the sound a little bit. I like to use them both. It depends what I'm doing, but in these videos I want to use this. And usually it's really good at least to have a stereo pair. You know, there's two mics, so you can get the wider sound. The guitar sounds better, wider, and that kind of stuff. If you have only mono signal, it's okay, but there is a lot of things what you can do if you have only one mic. But it's still okay if you want to do that. Just try these different things and then test. That's the way to do it. And also one thing I want to mention is that I used to be a recording engineer, so I'm really familiar with this studio stuff. I'm not doing it anymore as a professional, so it means that I'm not following anymore so much the equipments and the gear, how these things develop and that kind of stuff. I'm using my old habits, old ways to do, and sometimes I discuss with other recording engineers how they like to do things and that kind of stuff. So I have experience to do these things, but this is not magic. It's really, really easy things, and in the end, it's your opinion what comes to it, how you want to finalize the things and how you like to do them. How you like to do this. But anyway, this is only a small thing, small video, only a few things to mention, but just wanted to mention these, could say, obvious and clear things what I think. And if you have comments, questions, please write them down. If you want to see another video about these, please write me to the comments and ask me some certain things what you would like to know. I can try to answer them by writing, but also if there's a really huge title, I can try to do a new video about it. But yeah, next time I will concentrate on the new falsettos. I'm trying to work with them now, but anyway, before that, keep on practicing and do it well.